The Swiss Organic Farmers Association, BioSwiss, has set itself a very ambitious climate target. The association wants to move towards net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2040 and increase the resilience of farms in the process. Many organic farms are already implementing climate-related measures, like here at the Cat's Hof, where we are today as part of a ProBio event.
Welcome to the Cat's Hof. Today, we are organizing a ProBio event on the subject of keyline design and water management. We run a farm with 15 hectares of farmland here in the Lucerne hinterland. We run a vegetable farm with community-supported agriculture. We have a few suckler cows, Rieschen Grey cattle breed. We also do arable farming with a 6-year crop rotation. We have a few fruit trees. Our farm is situated in the pre-alpine hilly zone, somewhat exposed to the wind. We have an average of 900 millimeters of precipitation per year. Like many other farmers, we have also realized that the average amount per year is not the real problem, but the distribution of precipitation on the one hand, and on the other hand, the increasingly frequent extreme weather events, very dry, hot periods. And when it rains heavily in a rather short time, and that has increased significantly in the 9 years we've been farming here. We had to find a solution for that. Whilst researching the topic of water and agriculture, we came across this keyline design.
Keyline design is a holistic approach to planning how water can be retained in the landscape. There are 4 principles to keyline design: slowing, storing, infiltrating, and dispersing the water. Keyline relates to the contour lines, because they run along the contour lines and distribute the water to the ridges where it is drier. They take the water away from the wet area to the lower lying ridges. Here we see a ridge, it's like a crest. The water would naturally flow away from here to this side, in the valley down here, and to the other side. The water is channeled back to this crest through the keyline ditches.
The planning process actually began by clarifying our needs. What are the wishes in terms of management, in terms of water? What are the conditions in terms of operating areas and topography? Based on all this information, we then started the planning process and defined these so-called keylines. The real challenge was then to work out the details. In our case, this meant that we went through 11 rounds of planning until we reached the final plan. If these lines are good, we can get them into the field like this. Then they are drawn first. I did this with a small rotary tiller and a tractor. When the lines are then implemented, these trenches are then drawn into the field with the excavator along the edges.
I thought the vegetable field was incredibly beautiful already before. Now with this new structure and these harmonious shapes, I think it's even more beautiful. That's also an important aspect for me at work, that it's simply beautiful, and that the people who work here feel comfortable.
Another important aspect of this overall system is that we are establishing an agroforestry system along these keylines. We have planted chestnut trees here, and this autumn we will also plant cultivated elderberries as a second crop. There are several reasons for this. On the one hand, we can diversify our food production and use it for our farm. On the other hand, the tree and shrub plantations also support the water cycle, sometimes above ground, but also below ground with their deep rooting system. And we also create a structure in the landscape that increases the roughness of the landscape. And that's also a very important factor in terms of the microclimate.
Das Kleinklima ein sehr wichtiger Faktor.
Wir haben in der Stadt Zürich einen Betrieb übernommen dieses
We
Jahr.
took over a farm near Zurich this year. We have observed that there is erosion, that there is too much water in certain places. Therefore, it would be obvious to work with this keyline system. We will certainly consider how to implement this on our farm.
Und auch ein Keyline-Projekt zu starten.
Ja, der Markus macht das sicher.
Marcus is certainly doing this very professionally and has also had support. He was able to integrate it very well on his farm. But we also saw in the theory section that it can also be simpler with less construction work. I find it interesting that you can implement Keyline individually. There isn't just one solution.
I think it's important to go public with such issues and that these farms have a face and a voice, and not just in the alternative media, but also in agricultural policy. It's important to show this to the outside world and talk about it.
Also grundsätzlich haben wir heute hier auf dem Betrieb.
Basically, we have received a lot of practical input today. However, we have just discussed that the implementation of key lines might be challenging in the mountain region. You need very specific solutions there. Each farm has to find them for itself.
We are very pleased that there is so much interest in this topic. We can see that there are a lot of farmers who are taking these ideas home with them. And who knows, maybe there will soon be many more keyline systems in our country that we can see in practice.
As you have seen, a lot is still in development in the climate sector. BioSwiss therefore offers Probio working groups. Here you can exchange ideas with colleagues and learn from each other.